So we go to Jets camp yesterday in Florham Park. That means football is officially upon us, and who better to speak to than the NFL Network's Brian Baldinger. Brian, Baldy, that is. We're there. Fitz is first guy out in the field. He's leading the team in wind sprints. How important was it for the Jets to get back Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I think it was huge, and that's not to slight Geno Smith and what he might be able to do, but the veterans on the team, specifically the older veterans, Nick Mangold, Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, they really wanted Ryan back, and you could see just the glee and how happy they were. They wanted a chance to go chase the Patriots in that AFC East this year, and they just thought Ryan Fitzpatrick gives them the best chance to do that. He come off his best season as a pro, and the next step for Ryan Fitzpatrick in his 11th year is to actually lead a team to the playoffs.
The Pats don't have Brady for 4 games. Is that enough to maybe have the Jets win the AFC East, or is that a pipe dream?
I don't know if it's a pipe dream. I mean, every year you've got to be optimistic. I like the leadership of Todd Bowles. I like a lot of parts to that team. To compete, the Patriots were 2-2 2 years ago, went on and won the Super Bowl, And so I just think if people look at the first 4 games of Jimmy Garoppolo's career and first 4 games of the Patriots this season, I think if most people think if they come out of there, 2-2, that Tom Brady, be happy to, lead them to the promised land and, another division victory. So, either way, the Patriots are going to be the favorite to win this division once again.
Brian Baldinger with us right now. He's the voice, the face of NFL Network. We're happy to have you. We're thrilled. We were out there at Jets camp, and you bring up that you got to keep hope alive and all that. It's so much weird. It's the first time we got to go to a Todd Bowles camp versus a Rex Ryan camp. The business-like attitude, like as a guy who, played for 12 seasons, which did you prefer? The coaches who are a little more laid back, like Rex, more music, more fun, or the guys who seem to be more on a business agenda, like a Todd Bowles?
I like both of them. I mean, it's all about motivating players and, and having a plan. There's no bluster. There's none of that, Rex stuff going on. Todd is, he does have that same approach that you just described. I played for both. I played for Tom Landry, who didn't do a lot of that fluff, and it wasn't him, but we were prepared. I've seen it both ways. I like both coaches in this league. I think it's great that they're in the same division, but it seems to me that Todd Bowles is what this team needs. I mean, high on discipline, extremely. He's making every single player accountable. I don't care what the name of the jersey is, how many Pro Bowls they've been to. He's equally hard on Darrelle Revis as he is on, any young player on that team right now. So he's demanding, excellence, and I think that's what this Jets team needs. They need to get the best out of this group. They had a chance to go to the playoffs last year and really foiled an opportunity the final week of the season against Buffalo. And, he's going to try and keep them on the rails for 16 straight weeks and get the best out of them each week.
Brian Baldinger with us. Baldy, we're going to Bills camp on Tuesday. Are you shocked that here we are on Wednesday, August 10th, and Rex Ryan has not said they're going to win the Super Bowl yet?
Well, if he keeps losing key contributors to the team, it's going to be really hard to make that statement. To see Shaq Lawson go down before the season started, whether he comes back or not this year remains to be seen. You'll see Reggie Ragland go down. I mean, those are tough losses. And so, but every team has them. Sometimes they happen before the season starts. I mean, the best center in football was lost to the Steelers and Marquise Pouncey before the season started, and they still found a way, win 11 games, a playoff game, and almost, dethrone Denver before they got to a Super Bowl. So there's no excuses. But I think that, Rex has done enough of that stuff, and it's seen it backfire. And, in Buffalo, they haven't seen, a playoff team in over a decade. And so talking about it in August is just, it just feels like hot air to any Buffalo Bill fan. I think Rex recognizes that right now.
First year for the Giants under Ben McAdoo. What are some realistic goals for him?
Well, I think the goals are playoffs in the NFC East. I mean, that's where it should start. I was out there on Monday this week, and they got a very businessman's, workman approach. Ben McAdoo doesn't, really have a lot of extra words for the media or a lot of extra time to fool around. I mean, he seems like he's pretty focused and determined himself. The Mowers and Tisches, they've never spent money like they have this year. Almost $200 million in 4 players to really upgrade the worst defense of football. So, look, the NFC East is clearly up for grabs. It's anybody's division. And, the Giants have as good a claim to it as anybody. They've gone 4 straight years without a playoff. They've won, a horrible 6 games in the year the last 2 years. They've been out of it before they got out of it now October each of the last 2 years. I think the expectations are very, very high for Ben, and they should be.
Brian Baldinger, NFL Network, right here on 104.5 The Team. Baldy, Victor Cruz having a groin issue today. Do you think we're ever going to see him on the field for the Giants again?
I can't answer that. I really don't know. I mean, I was out there Monday. He was out there practicing. Obviously he's been off the field for the most of the last 2 seasons with serious injuries. I don't know. Like, I've seen players get past the injury phase and get back and have a career. And then I've seen players fall off the cliff and never get back. I've seen it both ways, but I don't know right now. I think the Giants are looking at Victor Cruz, that if they get anything near what Victor Cruz has been and what has looked like, it would be a bonus at this point. I think they're looking at Sterling Shepard and what he has done so far early as a guy that they feel very comfortable with the lining up and playing, and they'll fill in around him. But I don't know that we'll ever see, a lot of salsa dancing in the end zone for the Giants right now. But I don't want to say he can't do it because I don't know what he feels like day to day.
Are you shocked on how quiet they've been able to keep camp? Like, we sit here, we're your home for New York sports, and, every day we've got, the Bills have an injury. The Jets, Brandon Marshall and Revis are tangling a little bit. Ben McAdoo's camp seems to be the most boring place on the planet.
Well, I mean, it's boring to the media, but I was out there Monday, and I was impressed by how they got their work done. It was very crisp. They were in pads. They did their share of thumping, half line drills, hitting, their share of one-on-one. I thought it was very workman approach. And I think that's what Ben wants. I think that's what most coaches want. They don't want a lot of attention. They don't want a lot of, look, I think Brandon Marshall and, Darrelle Revis is great theater, and I think it made the quarterback better, way better than he's ever been last year because of the way they competed in practice. And I think Todd Bowles looks at it that way. But, if you're going to get Odell Beckham jawing and fighting with, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, it's not really going to do anybody any good in New York. I mean, that defense needs as much confidence as it possibly can get right now.
Baldy from the NFL Network with us, Brian Baldinger. Did you get a chance to see Hard Knocks at all last night?
I didn't watch it. No, I was driving from Latrobe to Cincinnati. All right, so I missed it last night.
I don't want to ruin it for you. Then, are you going to watch it, or can I ruin a small segment?
No, I don't watch TV. I'm fine. I know the show. My boys. I work in NFL film, so I know the guys that work in that show. And, the job that they do and turn that thing around. But what's your insight or question about it?
Well, it was interesting to me. So one of the wide receivers, younger guy, I think it was Deion Long.
Yep.
He had a female guest back to his dorm room. And Fisher, there's a scene Jeff Fisher says, no guests allowed. Like, don't bring anybody back to the room. The next time you see Deion, he's sitting in Fisher's office, and you get the impression Fisher's going to kind of just scold him. But he looks up, he goes, so I'm going to release you. Is that the weirdest reason you've seen somebody get cut from a team, or what?
No, I don't think that Jeff Fisher has a lot of rules, but I think that's one of them, especially, this year with Hard Knocks. I'm sure he read that rule book, is all 2 or 3 rules that he really has: be on time, no guests in the room, especially a female. Deion Long, I think, is a member of the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Yeah.
He got picked up quickly, but I don't think he was making an example out of him or anything. I just think, Hard Knocks is there. This thing is, we don't want to do anything to embarrass this football team on national TV. We want to put together a team, and let's face it, Deion Long, whether he was a long shot, no pun, to make this team or not, I think, Jeff Fisher was like, this is a new Rams team, and these are the rules, and we're going to follow them. And if there's a camera in the room, then I'm going to release somebody because he broke the rules, and there's a camera in the room. But I think he would have done it regardless of if Hard Knocks was there or not.
Baldy, one last question. 12 seasons in the NFL, you got to have a story about something really funny that happened on the field or doing a game. Could you share one of those with us?
Well, I mean, this time of the year, when I was with the Cowboys, we were out in Thousand Oaks, and we would scrimmage the Rams and the Raiders almost all the time out there. And all we did, it was basically an octagon session when we scrimmaged the Raiders. We would come out, we'd come onto the practice field, single file, get into a stretch line. No helmets were, no chin straps were ever unbuckled. No helmets were ever to touch the ground. We had a million rules under Tom Landry. I mean, you come on the Oakland Raider practice field, and Howie Long was sitting on his helmet. And we're like, well, that's a difference in the way you do things. But we fought the Raiders every day. I mean, they should have just put an octagon there. And really, it wasn't a fight unless you ripped the other, the guy you were fighting, Bob Golick, whoever it was, unless you ripped his face mask right off the helmet. That was your prize, just taking that face mask and then stick it to him. It was just, and it was funny because I remember one year we were scrimmaging the Raiders, and all we did was fight the entire practice. And then, but we had Wednesday night off, and we both went to this Miller Lite sponsored party and drank beers together like nothing happened.
Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network, man.
Great,
we
Brian.
Appreciate your time. We know you're super busy, and we're always grateful when you can take some time and give us a call.
All right, guys. My pleasure, man.